What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the We'll See You Later podcast, Bracketology, March Madness edition. I'm your host, Jeremy No Ideas, and this is Willie Brackets, and we are about to blindly go for this March Madness. We're going to give you a perfect bracket. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be absolutely perfect.
He's a liar.
This episode is brought to you by Happy's Energy and Nutrition, the best energy and nutrition on the planet. This is episode 42, and this one is solely dedicated to filling out a bracket together. Willie and I suck by myself. Will's not great by himself, but when we do this together, two brains become one brain, and we are smart.
What did you just say? I'm like a multiple-time bracket challenge champion.
Yeah, so together, we're about to build the perfect bracket. Mark it, love it, live it, and get ready to submit it.
That kind of rhymed. That was kind of cool.
Accidental.
Very much so.
All right, you guys can't see the teams on here, but we'll read them off to you guys. We'll break them down. We are going in blind. Brackets just dropped out.
Straight off of Joel and Artie's hard drive right here, people.
Literally just dropped out. Willie and I are going in blind. We do not know a lot of these teams, but I think that's actually better because I don't want to bore you with every freaking stat to mess up your bracket or your thought process.
I know enough to know, and I know enough to know what I don't know. I'm probably going to be a lot of name brands.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. We're going to do our breakdown of the bracket, but here are the rules to this scenario. Will's new to this. We did it last year, and it screwed us. Will.
Yeah, I'm completely new. Like I've been trying to get answers out of him since before
I haven't
we
told
started,
him what we're doing,
and I'm absolutely blind to this. So we're literally learning on the fly. This is all the brainchild of our illustrious host.
Yes. We did this last year, and it actually bit us in the ass. But we will pick these together.
Okay.
You and I both hold two vetoes in our pocket. That if you pick and I do not agree, I can veto you, and that team will win. Now, you can also veto my veto, but we have two vetoes. Does this make sense to you?
So, I'll give you a for instance here. So, say you pick Auburn and I pick Alabama State.
I can veto that.
You can go.
Nope.
You're a dumbass. Auburn's going to win.
Yes.
And then we have to put Auburn.
Yes. But
okay.
I only get to do that twice to you, and you can only do it twice to me.
So what happens if we disagree after that?
If we are out of vetoes and we disagree, it comes down to a coin flip.
Okay.
That's how it works. So we're going to do playing games. We're just kind of telling you who we're picking on these first two, which is a 16 seed, so we don't have them going very far. We do have American winning and Alabama State winning. Now, there are two other playing games that I believe are going to be pretty decent games. We have, on your side of the bracket, for an 11 seed spot, Texas and Xavier.
Sneaky matchup here.
This is going to be fun.
If it's me, I go in these playing games, I got to go, and really in March Madness in particular, I got to go with individual players. Trey Johnson over here, buddy. I don't think Xavier or anybody else has the manpower to stop him. He's going to get his.
Okay.
So I'm going Texas here.
Okay. I'll agree with that. All right. And over here we have San Diego State versus UNC.
UNC like North Carolina?
North Carolina, who should not have gotten into the tournament, who screwed West Virginia. West Virginia, I'm going to rant for 1 second. West Virginia wasn't a bubble team, had won 5 or 6 quad one games.
It's absolutely corrupt.
And North Carolina, first of all, the committee tried to go to quad 2 wins to help justify North Carolina getting in.
That isn't how that works with anyone.
North Carolina went 1-12 in quad 1 games this year. 1-12. And they got in over a 5-6 win team that wasn't even on the bubble. West Virginia, you got screwed 100%. Makes no sense.
It's absolutely on par with if, and I know we wear Razorback red glasses around here. It's absolutely on par with if Arkansas had gotten left out. This is a clear-cut case of the name on the front of the jersey politicking your way in. It's disgusting. It really is. That makes no sense. You can't dive into it and think. I don't care if you bleed Tar Heel blue.
You know it.
You know it.
West Virginia, every single bracket person had them clearly in the bracket clearly not a bubble team.
It's to the point now. It's come out that West Virginia's governor,
They're trying to like sue them.
Is trying to go after the NCAA now.
It's also what's crazy is everybody's talking about this SEC bias stuff. The 14 teams, by the way, that got in, and everybody's like, oh, they should never 14. You were horrible in your conference. The 14 teams that got in, all 14 of them have more top 25 wins than your number 1 seed Duke Blue Devils.
Translation, cry me a river. Every one of them deserved to get in.
Every one of them. And if South Carolina, who was the 16th team in the SEC, was in the ACC, they'd be top 5.
In the conference, you mean.
Top 5. Oh, well, top 5 in that conference.
Yeah, they'd be in the top half of the conference. It's the best last place team in the history of sports, maybe.
100%. So, North Carolina, San Diego State, for my purposes, I hate that North Carolina got in, so I don't want them to win. So, what are you doing?
San Diego State?
Them Aztecs. I'm rolling San Diego State just because I'm anti-North Carolina.
Let's do it then.
That's just me.
Let's do it then.
Okay.
FUNC.
All right. San Diego State is our playing game winner, along with Texas, Alabama State, and American. Now we're just getting into the tournament. I'm picking Auburn, number 1 seed overall. No questions asked. I don't have to deep dive into this.
No.
All right. Right out of the gate, we do have an 8-9 Louisville Creighton.
I'm going Louisville.
Okay. Is there a reason, or are you just rolling?
I think they're really good.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Pat Casey. He's done a great job there. I'm
not going to argue. Michigan, number 5 versus number 12, UC San Diego.
Michigan.
I have seen as well, though, before we even pick, that someone's had this San Diego team I know nothing about in their Sweet 16. So you want to stick with Michigan?
I do.
Okay, we'll stay there. It
really doesn't matter who wins that game for me, because I would have Texas A&M winning.
I've also seen this Yale team as an upset pick for people.
They're not beating Texas A&M.
Okay. I agree. All right, right now we've chalked it up for the first top half of this bracket, of the top half of the South. We'll have Ole Miss and San Diego State.
Toddy.
Okay, we're chalking it. I'm not going to disagree yet.
I just think they play really good defense. Chris Beard gets his guys ready for March.
Iowa State 3 versus Lipscomb.
I'm taking Iowa State.
Okay. Number 7 Marquette, number 10 New Mexico.
Is in the same conference as St. John's, and I feel like St. John's is the weakest of the 2 seeds. And I feel like a 7-10 has to happen somewhere.
Right.
Give me New Mexico.
Actually, it's because of the 2 seed in this bracket that I don't care about this.
Yeah, I mean, once you know the guys that are the teams that are going on to the Elite Eights and the Final Fours, this is kind of just bragging rights picks.
Michigan State over Bryant easily.
Yeah, Tom Izzo. You know what they say: January, February, Izzo, April. Tom Izzo is nails in March. You can put him down for at least 2 wins.
Number 1 Auburn, number 8 Louisville.
I think it's going to be the game of the tournament up to that point. Is Auburn and Louisville. I'm going Auburn, but only because I'm interested. Now Auburn has lost 3 out of their last 4. Golly, that Louisville team is a pesky. I'm going Auburn just to be safe here.
I'm actually going to go with Auburn as well. I think they are built for Sweet 16 at least.
Okay. I think this next one's where they slip up though.
Michigan and A&M.
Gig 'em.
A&M. Okay. Ole Miss, Iowa State. They are supposedly losing a player. Keyshawn Gilbert will not be available. The state announces Star won't be available for the big dance moments after getting the 3 seed.
Well, they waited until after they got their seeding to announce it.
Senior guard. It's a stunning news. The team's second leading scorer and leader in assists and minutes will not be available.
Yep. With Keyshawn Gilbert being out, that's a big loss for Iowa State. There's no way around it. You don't lose your leading minute guy.
Yeah.
Your leading assist guy. The glue of your team sounds like. You don't lose them and then go to the Sweet 16. Give me Ole Miss.
All right, we have our first 3 teams in the Sweet 16 are all SEC. Okay,
and it helps that we're in the middle of SEC country. We've seen all these teams all year.
Right.
We know exactly what
New Mexico, Michigan State. Give me Michigan State and Sparty.
Sparty, yeah.
Auburn and Texas A&M going at it again. Who do we have here?
Gig 'em.
We're going A&M to upset Auburn.
This is where Auburn finds a way to do what Bruce Pearl does in March, which is underachieve.
You think it's here? Or I kind of was thinking it was going to be against Michigan State. What do you think?
They have just talked me into it because part of me wants that to happen because I really like Tom Izzo.
Like I have Michigan State winning this bracket.
Part of me really wants that. You know what? Give me Auburn to the Elite Eight. You've talked me into it. And it's for an epic collapse
against Michigan
State. They're on the brink of the Final Four. Auburn's hollering War Eagle, and they choke it away against Michigan State.
Going down here to the West bracket, which is going to be, them Woo Pig Suey brackets. We'll talk about that on the episode coming up after this show.
There will be some homerism here. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. It will happen.
No vetoes yet. We haven't wasted a veto. All right, we're going to go number 1 Florida. Easy. All right. Number 8 UConn and number 9 Oklahoma. I think UConn's not an 8 seed.
I think UConn rolls here.
I do too.
Because I think number 1, UConn is a ridiculous 8 seed.
I think they're a 5 or a 6.
And for the exact opposite reasons, Oklahoma is a ridiculous 9 seed. I think Oklahoma should be in a play-in game if they're even in at all.
Yeah. UConn, to me, 2-time defending champion, great lineup, down year. They're in this tournament. I don't think they're getting bounced first round being a 2-time champ.
But let's not forget, they were a 4 seed and ran through everyone in the tournament.
Including us.
It was not – once the tournament started, you went, okay, they're the best team in the country and there's not a close second. Tournament UConn is a different animal.
All right, number 5, Memphis. Number 12, Colorado State. Give me the Rams.
Me too. I think
Memphis is overrated.
Memphis, man, I can't get with it. I never have been able to, especially this year. That's a ridiculous 5 seed.
So Colorado State?
Yes.
Upset. First one of the tournament for us.
Colorado State here. And spoiler alert, it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but
Maryland, Grand Canyon. I think Maryland's the best 4 seed.
I like that Maryland team.
I do too.
The Crab 5 that they're calling themselves instead of the Fab 5. Fear the Turtle. Shout out Scott Van Pelt.
All right. Number 6, Missouri. Number 11, Drake. This is a massive contrast of teams. Missouri is the up and down scoring team. Drake is the number 1 defensive team in the country.
Drake is a nasty 11 seed. That is a horrible draw for Missouri, and I think they lock them up. Give me Drake.
Drake, I'll take that. It's offense and defense. What do you go with? I trust defense more than I do offense.
Right. Looking at these other 11 seeds, Drake plays way better defense than any of them.
The 3-14 here is Texas Tech and North Carolina Wilmington. I'm going Texas Tech.
Ramblin' Wreck all the way here. One of the scariest 3 seeds.
100%. Now, no.
Spoiler alert, we're homers over here. If the hats didn't give it away.
Number 7, Kansas.
You got no shot at getting a fair shake here. How awesome is this? That Jeremy, are we in the Twilight Zone?
Yes.
This is Bill Self versus John Calipari. Years ago, Bill Self could have and probably should have been the coach at Arkansas. And now in 2025, Calipari is the head coach at Arkansas. We get a first-round matchup. This is in prime time, by the way. They announced that it's Thursday night at 6:10. They put this in prime time.
Because they know what's about to happen.
This will be the most watched I guess you could say high C game. No 7-10 is going to match this as far as viewing.
Not even close.
But Kansas, come on, Rock Chalk. You're not getting a fair shake here.
Not even. Razorback.
Woo Pig.
I got the Cow Those Hogs hat on right now. Arkansas upsets Kansas, and it's not even an upset.
The returning Boogie Flan puts everybody on notice in his 10 or 15 minutes or whatever he ends up playing. But
woo damn pig.
We're homers and we don't hide it. So
hey,
Kansas, you had no shot here.
I told you right out of the gate, though, this is a perfect bracket. Okay? So trust me. Just because I have this on my hat, that just means I know stuff.
And going further down the list here,
St.
the
John's.
Committee knew what they were doing here.
This whole side of the bracket is 100% legendary coaches.
The
I mean,
committee,
look who you have.
but the committee knew what they were doing.
100%.
Because they said, I'm going to give them Calipari Self in the first round, and I'm going to set it up where it was either going to be Self Calipari, it was going to be Self Patino, or is this like 1992? We get John Calipari and Rick Pitino for a trip to the Sweet 16.
Yes, we will.
I am here for all of it.
St. John's.
St. John's. And in the round of 32, we settle all family business. Oh,
okay. Here's this bracket's going to get a little wild for me. This dicey. This up here was kind of like whatever. I think UConn here as an 8 seed.
UConn as an 8 seed is a nightmare matchup for anyone. For anyone. Florida is sitting here.
Florida to me is the hottest team in the country.
Whether they admit it or not, they are pulling hard for Oklahoma in this first. You don't want anything to do with UConn.
Oklahoma and UConn are night and day differences for Florida. So does Florida here get knocked off early by the 2-time defending champ UConn? Are we looking too far behind at what UConn has done and not enough forward to see where they're going? Because they're on a bit of a losing skid.
I think I'll go step further, and I think we're booking UConn based on what they've done in the last 2 years, and we're forgetting just how good Florida is.
Right.
They're that good. Give me Florida.
I think Florida holds on, but this is going to be a lot like how you said Auburn, Louisville. I think this Florida-UConn game is going to be nasty.
Both these 1-8 matchups
are
nasty. If they chalk out that way, are must-see TV.
I think a lot of people that are not going to take Florida to go all the way are going to pick UConn here. Right. And I just think that Florida's going to do something.
If Florida's not in your Final Four, then that's because they lost right there.
Because Florida, to me, is currently the hottest.
Or they lost to Arkansas in the Elite Eight.
I think Florida is the hottest team in the country right now. And the most tested through that tournament.
Right. The most tested. And honestly, they have UConn vibes.
Yeah, from last year. Where it's like they're clicking on all cylinders, and they've always been one of the most talented teams in the country. I'm not frightened by them as a 1 seed because they're SEC and we've seen them, but man, they're good. Yeah. All right. Next round, Colorado State 12 seed against the number 4 Maryland Terps.
I love this Maryland team.
I do too.
I just do. I love them. Fear the turtle.
Number 11 Drake versus number 3 Texas Tech.
This game will be an absolute rock fight because Texas Tech is physical, plays hard defense. Drake D's up better than anybody in the country.
Yeah.
Golly, man. I want to take Drake. I do. But I
think Texas Tech's just too good.
I do too. Give me Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. And Willie.
I said it before we went on air that if Arkansas gets past Kansas, they get past St. John's.
I believe the same.
I think St. John's is
good.
No offense to the Johnnies, but I think they are easily the weakest 2 seed in this bracket. And
yeah,
I think they've just played a weaker schedule.
They have.
It's not their fault. I think they've got a lot of wins, but I think I see a lot of close games. I think,
they did lose to Georgia.
A middle of the road Georgia team beat them earlier in the year. I think this would be, again, this is going to break viewing records for a round of 32 game.
Yeah.
If you get Cal and Patino, it's really like, is this early 90s Big East stuff?
Right.
It's but yeah, Arkansas to the Sweet 16, and that's all if they get past Kansas. I said from the get-go, if they get St. John's, they're going to beat St. John's.
Yes. I think if Kansas gets past Arkansas, they get St. John's.
Right. The winner of this 7-10. The winner of this 7-10 goes to the Sweet 16.
I believe so. I'm not
disrespecting St. John's. They've had a great year.
The only way that St. John's, I think, gets past Arkansas is if we get that 0-for-17 Arkansas team.
Or if you get what they have gotten, which is you go 10 minutes without scoring.
Yes. Like that's what Boogie's in here for. Okay. Number 1 Florida versus number 4 Maryland. I know what we want to do here.
But
a lot of people.
If this plays out, I am so fear the turtle.
I'm 100% okay with Florida getting bounced right here.
I don't think
everybody's picking Florida to win it.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't. I really don't. I think give me Florida over Maryland if I'm going with what conventional wisdom tells me. Because look, I've got my team on a tournament run to the Sweet 16. I've heard all year that Calipari hasn't gotten out of the first round in 5 years. If we get to the Sweet 16, we're playing with house money at this point.
If we just win the first game, we're playing with house money.
Yeah, but a Sweet 16 run with a team that has so many injuries, has been up and down all season, is playing an 8-man rotation. Just this week, upgraded to an 8-man rotation. I mean, I don't believe in moral victories, but that'd be huge.
So we're going Florida?
We're going Florida. I think you can veto if you want, but I'm going Florida.
Do I waste a veto because on the other side of this bracket, I have some upsets?
I wouldn't waste one then.
I have upsets.
Because
I'm just so
I get the feeling one's coming on the other side of the bracket that we're going to be vehemently on the other side. So
I'll let Florida happen. There's a one. Here's my thing is we have the 1 seed losing here. I'm guessing if we put Florida past, I don't know if we can take Florida or Texas Tech can take Florida. So does that mean we have Florida in the Final Four?
Florida's chalking to the Final Four.
Okay.
Like that's what I'm.
All right. I'll rock with Florida here, even though I deeply believe that Maryland could do it.
Maryland could do it. I mean, when you get to the Sweet 16, anybody can do it.
Yeah, we'll go Florida.
I just think if Florida gets bounced, you're not going to be the only one that's wrong on that one.
Right. Texas Tech and Arkansas. Does the luck run out for us?
I just can't. I can't. Like, conventional wisdom says an 8-man rotation can't make it all the way to the Elite Eight.
Okay.
I just can't.
Do you think we get snubbed here by Texas Tech?
I want it to happen so bad that it hurts. I do. I want it to happen so bad that it hurts. We've already kind of
overachieved.
We've already kind of homered them to the Sweet 16. I got to go Texas Tech here just because Arkansas runs out of gas. If Arkansas gets here, they run out of gas.
Okay.
Don't waste a veto trying to be a homer. Don't do
We'll go Texas Tech here, Hog fans. It was fun while it lasted, even though I hate Texas Tech.
I want to be wrong. Clearly, I want to be wrong. I want to come in here and I want to see them all the way over here.
I do. I would have us losing in the Elite Eight to Florida, though.
Right.
I would have us also losing to Maryland if we had that happen.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is the most wide open bracket.
Yes.
In all of it, because UConn could take them down as an 8.
Maryland
could take them down.
Colorado State, to be honest with you, is a nasty 12 seed that can sneak in here.
They could beat whoever comes out of here.
Yes.
But what they have to worry about is getting past the first 2 to get there.
Yes. Yeah, I think if they make it to the Elite Eight, Florida, whoever they play down here, they've kind of got that. This part of the bracket to me is just so wild and could be anyone. That's the crazy part about this one.
Evenly matched teams all the way down here.
Yes.
Evenly matched teams all the way down here. But I think this half is a step up from the bottom half.
I agree. And boom. Yeah, magic. We switch sides.
Do not adjust your screens. You are not on drugs. Or maybe you are.
We're going to be on the flip side of this bracket now. Duke and American, obviously, we're going Duke.
Right. With or without Cooper Flag.
Yeah, they win this game no matter what. Number 8, Mississippi State. Number 9, Baylor. Just based off of how Arkansas, I just think Baylor has weapons. And I don't trust Mississippi State.
Baylor has underachieved all year.
Yeah.
But I will say that March is different. It just is. It's an 8-9 matchup, so by nature, it's a toss-up.
Yeah. I just don't know if I trust Mississippi State.
Yeah. Based on the fact, I have to go down. It has to come down to coaching at this point.
Yeah.
And Chris Jans has overachieved with that team. Really completely revamped that Mississippi State program. I think they're going to be a problem going forward. I don't see them beating Scott Drew and Baylor here, though.
Going Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor.
I know this is a sexy pick, too, is Liberty, number 12, over number 5, Oregon. I don't see it.
I don't either. I think that a 5-12 is normally kind of a toss-up, and I think a lot of people will just put Liberty in there because, frankly, if you're from the middle part of America, you don't see Oregon play very often because they play late.
Yeah. Arizona and Akron. I think Arizona is a really solid 4. I think that they had possible national championship contender in their mind start of the season. I don't see them slipping against that.
No, and honestly, this is a situation where I think dropping to a 4 and kind of underachieving in the regular season
help them.
I mean, you got a really good draw.
Yep. And then here, BYU and VCU, to me, I think they both got screwed in where they're at. I think VCU is actually a 9 seed. I think BYU is a 6, but I hate that they drew a VCU.
Right.
I think if you space them out, they both are winning whatever matchup you might have them in. But I like BYU a little more than VCU.
Not by much.
But I think that both teams, if they were playing somewhere else, if you would put VCU with this Liberty situation or up here with Mississippi State, I might take them because I think they're that dangerous.
Yeah, it's not by much.
But I got BYU.
But give me the Stormin' Mormons.
Number 3, Wisconsin, who looked not great in their championship game.
No, they not at all.
Against number 14, Montana, I still think Wisconsin's
I'm going to give them a reprieve for the first round. I don't know about the second round.
Same.
They looked really, really vulnerable.
St. Mary's, 7 versus number 10, Vandy. I from what I've always known is St. Mary's is slow, runs the zones, so everybody's in the game, but over time they wear you down. Vandy, on the other hand, playing SEC, a really solid year.
They're battle-tested.
Can they get past and upset St. Mary's here?
Can they? Yeah.
Will they?
Oh, man.
This is a tough one for me because St. Mary's is always a team where you're saying every time they're in the tournament, Sweet 16 possibilities.
Right, and I actually said, because I had a feeling we'd be 7-10. And when I saw, I had a feeling St. Mary's would be a 7. I was happy that we avoided them. Not that I'm sleeping on Kansas, I'm not. But I was happy that we avoided St. Mary's in a 7-10. I just
think St. Mary's holds on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Vanderbilt had a great year, and but I just think I don't think that I can pick a team that has had a tournament drought for as long as they have.
Yeah.
And St. Mary's is there every year.
Bama, number 2, 15, Robert Morris.
Stop it.
All right, second round, Duke, number 1. If this happens, Jeremy Roach transferred from Duke to get paid a crap ton of money to go to play Baylor.
Right.
Roach takes on Flagg.
If he's playing.
I think he's playing.
There's no way he doesn't.
It's just tender-footed. I think Duke is good with and without him.
They're clearly.
Enough to make it at least to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. I'm not crazy enough to pick an upset until Duke gets to the second weekend.
Yep. This one right here, though.
It feels like a toss-up, doesn't it?
Number 4, Arizona. Number 5, Oregon. I don't know. Because the name brand, you want to go Arizona. Because it's just like they're almost as if you put them kind of in the blue blood conversation.
They may not be blue blood, but they're
close. Like it's like they're always a team that people pick to go far. Oregon is always a team that kind of slips up.
Yeah,
but Oregon, I don't know if I've ever. When's the last time we've seen Oregon as a 5? I thought they were always 7s, 8s, 9s.
Just because of that, I gotta go pedigree here. Arizona.
We're gonna go zona. I agree with you here. After seeing Wisconsin's bad game, they looked horrible to me, and seeing what BYU can do, I think the Mormons right here upset. Number 6 beats number 3 Wisconsin.
It's steep, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I don't think either one of them are beating Alabama in the next round.
Yeah. What do you think here?
Oh man,
I know the name brand, but I just think BYU, someone's going to make a run. And we hadn't picked anybody yet to really make a run other than Arkansas, which is
that was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Give me BYU.
BYU. And then we both go Bama over St. Mary here.
Yeah.
I think there's just too much offensive firepower.
There's too much firepower, and St. Mary's is going to try to play slow against Alabama, and Alabama does what they do better than anybody in the country. So it's a matchup nightmare.
Duke, number 1 versus number 4 Arizona. I don't know if I trust the Arizona team fully.
I don't.
And I do trust,
and
even though Duke only has 2 top 25 teams.
I want that Duke-Bama match.
Okay.
I want, like, as a fan, I want that.
So we're both going Duke here.
Yeah.
And BYU Bama, we're picking Bama.
Yeah.
I just think BYU runs out of steam here.
I think it is a chalk, honestly. At worst, I mean, obviously we got a 1 versus 2 here. So
I think Wisconsin is the weakest 3 seed.
Right.
I do. I think that if you would have flipped them in Arizona, the Arizona Bama matchup would have been dangerous.
Yeah.
I Duke and Bama.
Wow.
Do we allow? At this point, I'm going to guess he's got to be fully healthy.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg's got to be fully healthy here. Can he propel this team past Alabama, who will put up numbers?
I don't think that Duke has played anyone well close to the caliber of Alabama.
Okay. Roll Tide here.
I hate it.
Roll Tide here.
Give me Bama here.
We're going to go Bama. I'm not going to veto this one. I think this is where we're going to get a little crazy.
We've got a brands here, and Michigan State in the Final Four. Like, Bama has become a brand in basketball. I hate to say it, but they have.
Okay. Dropping down to the Midwest, Houston, 1 seed here.
Chalk it. I mean, in all honesty, you could go ahead and just pre-write the 1 seed through the 16. If that happens, everybody was wrong.
Gonzaga, Georgia.
This is interesting.
I don't think so.
This is interesting.
I think Gonzaga and Khalif Battle actually do damage here.
You think they're waxing them?
I don't think Georgia, to me, after watching them, I've watched Gonzaga's offense. They don't have the best defense, but Georgia I don't see it.
Georgia was the benefit of, they're a good basketball team. They were the benefit of the SEC being really good. So they had a bunch of quality wins.
And the St. John's win. Because St. John's after that went on a tear.
St. John's just kept winning.
Yep.
And made that win look maybe better than what it actually was.
Yes. I just think that I'm not saying Georgia's overrated because I respect what you did. I just think Gonzaga really is there. And they are there.
The pedigree here, as far as like March pedigree, nobody's picking Georgia to win this game.
I think Gonzaga.
You can't. And Gonzaga Houston is like a March blue blood matchup as far as like teams that are there all the time.
Going Zags here now.
Here we go.
We talk about these 5-12 matchups. Do we have one yet? Not over there. Not over there. We did have one here with Colorado State.
Well,
everybody's on this McNeese run here, and with Will Wade, I don't want to bet against him.
No,
but I've also seen, I don't know who it was, but on ESPN they had Clemson in their Final Four.
That's ridiculous. I'm not big on the ACC as a whole.
I'm not either. I think they're weak.
I'm just not.
Except for one school.
Yeah, Duke. I think the ACC was extremely top heavy. I think it's Duke and then a whole bunch.
Is Louisville in ACC?
I think so.
So Duke and Louisville. That's it.
But I think it's Duke, and then I think it's a big drop off as far as just a bunch of really good teams in one great. And then some middle of the road team. Clemson's not 5.
Do you think McNeese wins this though? Or are we vetoing?
Clemson's not a 5.
I want McNeese.
Did you pick McNeese?
I did.
I hate Will Wade so much. But I think that's the kind of thing though. Like, I think he gets off on being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Kind of the black hat. And it almost makes me want to pull for him. Now that he's not at LSU anymore, it kind of makes me want to pull for him. You know what? I'll go Clemson just because you went McNeese.
Okay, so are you going to veto me or are we flipping?
I'll let you veto me. How about that?
I'll veto you there. I want this to happen just because I think Clemson's bull.
I want it to happen too.
Okay.
But I feel like for one, I'm not sure. I'm not sure with this one.
Okay.
But I want McNeese to win, and so I'm going to let you veto me.
Got it.
Just because I feel like we've agreed a lot.
My one veto is in. McNeese on to the next round. Number 4, Purdue. Number 13, High Point. This is High Point's first ever tournament appearance, and I hate Purdue in the tournament. They will rip your heart out. They have no soul.
I'm feeling crazy here.
I want High Point so bad to win.
Do we have do we have a 12-13 matchup in the round of 32?
I don't know if they can actually beat Purdue, but every time I'm high on Purdue, they lose.
Yeah, Purdue lost to a 16.
First one ever do it, or second?
Seed. I think second.
Because Virginia did it once. I just don't know which.
Yeah.
And they had Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Zach Edey, and they were the number 1 overall seed. I never can trust Purdue in March.
And
High Point, first time in.
And they're playing out of their minds. Like, that's the thing. It'd be one thing if they were like the Cinderella, that was their first time in, and you can't really say anything about how they're playing. They're playing ridiculous basketball. Do I ride the flavor of the month here?
I think this game's closer than we want it to be, but I'm just hoping. I have no confidence in High Point at all. I just want it. But I'm not vetoing anymore. I've only got one left.
I don't want to use a veto here. Like, do we go off?
Or we can flip. We can coin flip.
Conventional wisdom says Purdue wins this game.
100%. They win 95-72.
Right. I'm going Purdue.
So are you going to veto or no?
Yeah.
All right. Will throws one veto. I only did do the High Point because I don't trust Purdue.
I get it.
That's
I
my
get
thing.
it. And let me tell you something. I'll take the L there. I'm not going to be disappointed if it happens.
Yeah. And I do think if Clemson beats McNeese that they could make it to the Sweet 16 on my veto. So, because I don't trust this 4-13, I don't trust either one. But number 6 Illinois versus what we say is number 11 Texas. Are we still upsetting here and having Texas do something stupid?
Illinois is really good. They're really well coached.
I don't trust Texas.
I don't either. I think Texas has one player, and I think that's enough to get you through a play-in game. Give me Brad Underwood and the Fighting Illini and Tomislav Ivičić.
Yes.
To go to the round of the 32.
Okay.
This is going to get heated. Buckle up for this one right here. Hey, Big Blue Nation, this one's for you. Kiss my Razorback red ass. All for one, give me the Troy Trojans.
You have 14 Troy beating number 3 Kentucky here.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think that that's really going to happen?
Let me ask you something. You think this is just out of pettiness?
Yes.
Okay. I have stats to back it up. Troy is in the top 25 in steals. They're in the top 30 in the country in total defense.
Okay.
Arkansas played Troy in non-conference. They won the game, only scored 65 points. Your number 1 seed in this bracket, the Houston Cougars, played Troy. They won, only scored 62 points.
Okay.
Troy locks people down on defense. Kentucky, on the other hand, plays no defense. This is a really bad matchup
for Kentucky.
This is a nightmare matchup. Give me Troy.
And I think Kentucky is more worried about Arkansas. Talking that side trash. So you truly, okay. I'm not going to waste my second veto here. I'm picking Kentucky, and you're picking Troy.
Right.
We're going to coin flip. First flip. The queen is Kentucky. The 5. This is my St. Lucian money. Oh, my God.
Did it flip Troy?
It flipped Troy.
Come on, Blue Nation. Oh, no. All for one, the Troy Trojans.
Oh, my God.
Sends you packing. Cal gets out of the first round with Arkansas, and then Mark Pope still doesn't have an NCAA tournament win.
This is insane. I don't agree with this, Big Blue Nation. I hate you. But if this happens, this is the best moment.
Right.
I can't
I'm
believe
pulling
it.
for that almost as hard as I'm pulling for this right here. Almost as hard.
If this flips on us, we're so screwed.
Right.
Okay. All right. That was a flip. We're gonna put a flip. Okay. Number 7, UCLA. Number 10, Utah State.
I know nothing about either one of these teams.
I think UCLA is fraud. I don't know why. I feel fraudulent. And this is the entire upset bracket. We have a 12, a 13, and a 14 going. Why the hell would we not pick a 10?
You just talked me into it. I don't know anything about them. Give me the Aggies. And licking their chops over here is the 2-seed Tennessee because they're getting through.
Tennessee hopes all of this happens.
Yeah, I mean, they're going, if all this happened, how come SIU Edwardsville can't win?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, and really, it translates to a really boring final in this bracket because it's going to be 1 and 2.
Okay. Houston and Gonzaga here. Are we going to get Because we haven't. We have no 8-9s upsetting ones. Remember, it's always like, when's the one going to lose? We have number one losing in the Elite Eight, number one losing in the Elite Eight, number one going to the Final Four.
I can't either.
Does it happen here?
I can't. Houston, God, they play such good defense. It's Houston.
All right, so we never picked an 8-9 here, and that, to me, that's a hot pick for me always, is an 8-9 winning against a 1.
It's not happening here.
Yeah, I think
your best chance
is Louisville or UConn.
Here or here.
And we didn't pick it.
It's not there. Houston honestly got the best draw of any 1 seed, and it's really not close.
Okay, here, your veto versus mine. Number 12, McNeese versus number 4, Purdue.
McNeese, it's got to stop here, doesn't it? It's got to stop here.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to stop here.
Okay, so we'll stick with Purdue.
Right.
Number 6, Illinois versus coin flip, number 14, Troy. Does Troy mess with Illinois as well?
No.
Okay, so we think it's just a one and done.
I think they are so fired up to be a 14 that beat a 3 that I think they're just kind of happy to be there at that point.
In Tennessee over Utah State?
Yes.
If Houston's beating Gonzaga, I think they're beating Purdue.
Yeah, it's a 1-2 matchup, and it's a 1-2 matchup here, and it's further driving home that we are all chalk in this 1 and 2s all the way around.
That's horrible. No, we're here. We're 1 and 3, but still, I hate it. But it's okay. It's okay.
I'm taking, and man, that would be a hell of a game if it plays out too. Golly.
I think if this happens based off of everybody else, not even just this game, I don't know if we can have 3 SEC schools in the Final Four. Can we?
I don't know that they would look at us and go, homers. I would love for it to happen because so many people are complaining about that many teams getting in.
Yeah. Our individual brackets are going to look very different than this to me.
just for the sake of it. I mean, defense wins championships, right? Give me Houston.
Okay. All right. My goodness. We're going back to the other side. In our Final Four right now, we have Michigan State, the 2 seed out of the South, Florida, the 1 seed out of the West, Midwest, Houston, number 1 seed, and the East is Bama, number 2. I'm hoping that someone else makes a run. I truly believe with a weird gut feeling that Maryland's going to catch Florida. I just feel it, but I don't know. I have no credibility behind it.
If they get past UConn.
Yes.
That first 1-8 matchup right there is brutal.
Like I think
that's brutal.
I think you can have an 8 or the 4 in the Final Four out of that bracket. But we have number 2 Michigan State versus Florida in the Final Four. Who makes it to the finals? I think if Florida makes it out of that bracket and they're not playing in Auburn,
feeling if they get here they win this.
Same. Florida.
Yeah, that is Tom Izzo on the other side though.
And then we have Bama Houston. Does Houston finally do what they set up to do this year? A lot of returning seniors. They wanted to make a push. They've made it to the Final Four. Do they make it home to play Florida?
I think they do. I think
Houston beats Bama.
Houston D's up this Bama Nate Oates 3-point offense, which it's legit. It's not a gimmick anymore.
Yeah.
Like
they're for real.
As much as they've won, it's not a gimmick anymore. Nate Oates, I strongly dislike the man, but he's a great basketball coach. Give me Kelvin Sampson. They get to the finals.
Houston number 1 versus Florida number 1.
So the Final Four is actually in San Antonio this year. Does that play as sort of a quasi home court advantage for Houston? I don't know. Florida would travel well, I feel like.
Oh, 100%. It's a national championship, too.
Yeah, I think everybody here would travel well. It's a destination for all of these teams.
They all started to come back because they wanted to make a run to the Final Four. It's in San Antonio. It's in your home state. A lot of leadership on this team, a lot of seniors versus, to me, the hottest team in the country with Florida. Do you go with your veteran leader kind of in your backyard, or do you go with that hot streak team who as of late, this team looks untouchable, as of late.
If they get out of this bracket, that's what I keep coming back to. If they get out of this, because this is brutal.
UConn, Maryland, possible Arkansas, Texas Tech, or St. John's, maybe a Kansas.
Or a Kansas. It's brutal. It's brutal. If they
Florida
get,
being battle tested, and over here, I'm not sure if Houston's battle tested minus the Tennessee Bama.
When you say battle tested, don't rule out that means fatigue.
Yeah, right. But also you got here Houston with Tennessee, Houston going up against double SEC triple. It'd be 3 SEC wins in a row.
Yeah, I see that's it right there. I don't think that they can do that.
You don't think they'll win 3 SECs in a row?
I don't think that they can do that. I don't think
against the number 2 SEC, number 3 SEC. Well, no, it's number 4, 3, and 2.
I don't think that they can run that gauntlet. I don't.
That's where my stand is for Florida. Is Florida has ran this gauntlet and did it really well.
Yeah,
I trust this team more than I would trust this team.
I'm telling you right now that chalk held right here, but it wouldn't shock me if our bracket gets blown up like right here or possibly right here. Like
this is a perfect bracket. I don't know what you're talking about.
It would. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me if anywhere in here, our bracket gets blown up. So because of that, I'm going Houston because
you just double standard though. You said they can't. You don't think they run this gauntlet.
God, man.
So can Houston run a Tennessee, Bama, Florida gauntlet, or is Florida going to run their gauntlet? It's 2 different massive gauntlets.
Yeah.
Here's my thing: if Florida does beat UConn and beat Maryland, I think they win here and beat a Michigan State. I don't think they're going to get snubbed by Houston.
No.
Because I think that UConn, Maryland, Michigan State, not saying record-wise, they could hang really well with a Houston.
That's fair.
So I think if you're picking Houston, I will veto that and pick Florida, and you still have a veto that I now cannot trump. This would come down to your decision of letting my veto stand.
If you haven't figured it out, I can find ways to convince myself both ways.
Yeah, so what do we do?
So look, I'm not gonna try to veto back.
You can.
I mean,
it's allowed.
Chomp.
You're going Florida.
Give me the Florida Gators. Riding the hot hand. Everybody says that's all that matters in March, right? It's get hot.
We are rolling with Florida. Hot. Give me a score. Let's just throw it out there. First thing that comes to mind.
This is going to be the first team, I think, to 70 wins.
I'm going to say 77, 72.
Yeah, the first team to 70 probably wins. Give me 74, 68.
There we go. That is your perfect bracket that I have -4% confidence on.
Negative 400.
Florida wins it all against Houston. I don't agree with 90% of it. Because now that I look at it, I think it's stupid. While we were doing it, I actually agreed with it. Now that I've zoomed out of this lens of just being excited and this happened, I feel like our whole bracket will be busted after 1 to 2 rounds.
Which is the fun in it, though.
Exactly. I do believe that a number 1 seed somewhere is going to lose.
Let me tell you where I hope our bracket gets busted right here, folks.
I hope Arkansas makes a run.
Ride it all the way to the national championship right here.
Timeout. You know how poetic would it be?
As a 10 seed against Kentucky.
Against a number 3 Kentucky. And let's settle the score. Let's have an Arkansas-Kentucky final.
Hey, Big Blue Nation, meet me in San Antonio.
Be crazy. But that is our bracket. Sorry you saw the back of our head most of the time. Who gives a rat's ass? Some of you just listen anyway. Florida beats Houston in our bracket. This is Willie Brackets. This is Jeremy Knows Nothings. This was our March Madness prediction. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Switch back.